Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, Iheart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our all-new Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2LIFT, we're featuring my good friend, actress Mackenzie Westmore, famously known for her role on the soap opera Passions, but truly she's been in a ton of TV. Impressively, she created her own cosmetics line 8 years ago called Westmore Beauty, which can be found on the QVC and on westmorebeauty.com. Mackenzie got into the business to help women feel sexy and amazing. She's joined by the beautiful Nikki Giavasis. She's a wellness advocate, coach and entrepreneur, author, and mega influencer. Today, we're joined by beauty industry trailblazer Lana Kerr, CEO and founder of CO2LIFT and Lumisque Skincare. Today, we're chatting women's health, non-invasive procedures, and are you ready for it? Vaginal rejuvenation. That's right. We're going to chat all about how carboxy therapy is proprietary and all its incredible uses revolutionizing the industry. It's a non-invasive procedure involving the therapeutic use of carbon dioxide for skin regeneration. When infused into the skin, CO2 immediately diffuses at the cutaneous and muscular microcirculatory levels, resulting in higher tissue oxygenation and neoangiogenesis. The blood vessels widen, increasing the transport of oxygen body tissues for cellular regeneration and anti-inflammatory effects. It's actually a treatment that's been around since the 1930s, though the method of delivery has improved since then with a gel delivery system called CO2LIFT. But don't take my word for it. Join the conversation now. Welcoming to the show are my dear friends, Mackenzie, Nikki, and Lana. Welcome, stunners.
Oh,
Hi.
It's
Thank
a
you for
beauty
having
fest.
us.
Absolutely. So, Lana, let's dive right in, and I'm going to start with you. So, carboxy therapy uses carbon dioxide to stimulate blood and lymph circulation to the area being treated and improve circulation, elasticity, fine lines and wrinkles, and all that good stuff. But the old way to administer carboxy therapy was by subdermal injection of CO2 with a thin gauge needle, so to speak. And this application caused some pain and discomfort and also left minor bruising. What is the new improved method, and what is CO2LIFT Carboxy Therapy Gel?
so that was great, by the way, Zen. The new method is actually a gel delivery system, and that was actually developed in Japan. And it's really interesting that that's where it was developed, because even before the French delivery system in the 1100s, there were carbonic hot springs in Japan that the samurai warriors after battle would go and bathe in there, which would very quickly regenerate their tissue. So it's interesting that they developed. We have a patented gel formulation in which we have the exclusive rights to that, and that's called CO2LIFT.
Wow. So you've done your homework here.
Wow.
So increasing the presence of wound repair factors and growth factors, which also help cells turn over faster, and reducing the appearance of aging and scars and stretch marks and more. I mean, this is great. Stimulates collagen and elastin production, which of course promotes elasticity and helps retain hydration. And I was reading on your website that improving local metabolism and elimination of waste products, which helps the body heal and localize the damage, such as the scars and acne, hyperpigmentation, which is really interesting. So I love what you've kind of offered to the world here. Now, Mackenzie, you have been very, very vocal as of lately about non-invasive procedures. You are the great granddaughter of British hairdresser George Westmore, who established Hollywood's first ever hair and makeup department in 1917. You have a family star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for your family's contributions to the industry, yet there you were suffering in silence over bad fillers. When did you
Yeah.
start to notice negative effects and migration on your face? And what non-invasive procedure currently is working for you?
To be honest with you, Zen, I didn't notice it. It took Dr. Paul Nassif to point out to me the problems that were going on, because I had just gotten so far lost into the woods. I mean, I think many people know my story of suffering from anorexia in my 20s, being on a soap opera that wanted me to be super skinny, but when you go through anorexia, it eats muscle. So then I had to turn to filler at 24. And that's way too young to be filling your face. So my face looked good for them. My body looked finally good. And then it just spiraled and went downhill from there. And when I went into Dr. Nassif, that's when he said, I thought I had breast implant illness. And he said, no, it's your face. You have facial implant illness, basically. And it took him 10 hours to dissolve, well, 2 weeks to dissolve what he could, and then a 10-hour surgery to remove the fillers, scrape it off my bone. And he said in his 30 years, he'd never seen anything like what I was dealing with. I was testing positive for fibromyalgia, lupus, touch wood. I'm not now. It's because it was all pushing on my lymph nodes. And now that we've released it, my health has been top notch. So I'm very grateful. That's why we also started the podcast Demystify Beauty, to help others know what to look for, when to look for things. And I finally have realized that fillers for me and all that are not the way that I need to go. And it's not the way anybody needs to go. Anytime I can find something that I can use in my own home is a blessing. I do personally love lasers, and with Westmore Beauty, that's why I've gone down that road of helping others to find out with the 60-second eye effects. We're getting ready to launch something that is for deep wrinkles that lasts 24 hours, and expression lines. So that's really been a big drive for me with Westmore Beauty, is to get away from anything injecting in and things that you can do on top.
I love it. And I love that the at-home treatment as well, right? I personally have metal plate under my orbital and screws down my nasal passage from a
Right.
facial fracture stemming in 2012. And I'm not eligible for any fillers or even lasers. So for me, something like CO2 Lift is a skin saver and the best anti-aging secret in my personal circumstance. But yeah, these are the types of products I love to talk about, and I love because they're non-invasive and you can actually try them and see for yourself if the results
Yeah.
are as stated, and more importantly, it's not going to cause a dent in your wallet. Now, Nikki,
Right.
Nikki, welcome back, Stunner. Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Now, you recently explanted your breast implants with the amazing Dr. Rankin in Jupiter, Florida, and you're all about prioritizing your health. You recently mentioned that you wanted to opt for non-invasive procedures in beauty and skincare overall. I mean, you're a grandma, and for those of you that are listening and not watching yet, she's absolutely stunning. I can't even believe she's a grandmother. What beauty routines are you currently endorsing, and what are your thoughts on something like CO2 Lift? Would you try it?
Well, I would actually love it because it is non-invasive. I've tried a lot of
Yeah.
alternative methods because I'm just not a person that can take filler. Obviously, I couldn't take the breast implants, so they had to immediately come out. But I've tried a lot of things that are non-invasive, or even I think being Greek and growing up and like learning like home remedies would be like put egg whites on your face and it like
Mhm.
literally like snatches your face. Or there's like certain things, even like a hydrofacial or PRP or something like
Yeah.
that. To me, that's as far as I pretty much want to go, is like something that is stimulate. Oh, actually, I've tried ozone as well. So like certain IVs and certain modalities like that, and like infrared sauna, boosting circulation, cryotherapy, cryofacials, all of those work
Mhm.
well for
I
me.
love it. And it's interesting because this in this particular case, I know that there's a great product that CO2 has. It's the CO2 Lift Pro. It's the strongest version on carboxy gel, and it's only available to aesthetic and medical providers. So there is an in-office or at-home treatment that delivers CO2 cutaneously over 35 minutes to an hour. And this transdermal non-invasive facial mask is recommended for post-procedure care, after invasive procedures such as needling or even laser. So you could couple this with any of that.
Wow.
It's great. Now, Lana, this is amazing stuff. You're hearing me endorse it. A take-home treatment proven to have similar results to injections. I mean, focusing on solving anti-aging skin without the use of machines and aggressive peels or injections or cosmetic surgery. This really, really speaks my language. I know that you mentioned it was beneficial to all providers, surgical, aesthetic, medical, and estheticians. You have that up on your website. But the powerful anti-aging and aesthetic solution is not only just designed for the face, it's for the eyes, the body, and the vagina. So tell me about this. It regenerates the vulva, vaginal tissue, and effectively also apparently heals diabetic ulcers in as little as 4 treatments. That the two are mutually
Wow.
not exclusive. But how is the CO2 created? And can you talk to me about the CO2 Lift V?
Okay, awesome. Well, yes. Well, for diabetic ulcers, just to show you how powerful a simple gel that you can do at home is, it can actually close a non-healing wound in as little as 8 days with 4 treatments. So every other day taking. So, vaginal skin is similar to any skin on our bodies. And we just, as women, we hardly notice it or take care of it or talk about it. I think things are changing in that direction, but it really started with something that was personal to me, my own sex life. And, I noticed when I got into my 40s that, my relationship with Terry in terms of my enjoyment changed. I was just not feeling him in the same way. And I went to my gynecologist and I told her how I was feeling. And she just explained that tissue gets thinner. We lose blood flow. So our pleasure organ, our clitoris, starts to shrink because we're losing blood flow. And so we don't feel as sensitive, and then we may get drier. So she actually was recommending an energy-based device in her office, which I gladly signed up for. But leaving, I thought we had something already that we were using, CO2LIFT Pro, that works very similar to an energy-based device, because energy-based devices control damage to the skin to elicit a healing response. Well, CO2 gas, carboxy therapy, does the same thing. When you put the gel on whatever area, the gas penetrates right to the muscular level. So, and then what happens is it starts a healing response. So I went to one of my advisory boards who was a cosmetic gynecologist, and I just basically said, what do you think about this? And he said, Lana, let's try it. It will work, I'm sure. So we did a pilot study, 10 women at first, just a proof of concept, double blind, which means that the patient doesn't know what they're taking, nor does the investigator. And we started with just a general FSFI questionnaire, which is a standardized questionnaire index, which just measures, for instance, orgasm, desire, lubrication. And the ones that used the ultrasound gel, the placebo, showed no changes. The one that used the CO2LIFT technology showed significant changes in all areas. So we did biopsies. And when you look at that tissue after 10 treatments, those women in their 60s, it looked like a woman in their 30s. I mean, that tissue
Wow.
was healthy and vibrant. So we duplicated the study with a larger group. In fact, now we just got another IRB approval. We're adding stress incontinence to that. So women who cough and pee, because that is atrophy is responsible for that, because we are helping that. Women are experiencing, they can cough, they can jump on a trampoline and not pee. So yeah,
Wow.
it has changed. I mean, before we even started, I always tell the story, but my mom and my aunts, they went from sandpaper to butter. And I was really excited about that.
Okay, well, you've convinced me. Now, that's fantastic. I thank you so much for that, for that exposition. Now, Mackenzie, you're the founder of Westmore Beauty, right? So we've talked about this. You're a mother, you're an actress, a public figure, a wife. And I know that with all that's going on, it's hard to balance everything, especially our female hormones. And although I'm not that old, I'm still in my 30s, I tend to experience some vaginal dryness and hormonal fluctuations, especially during that time of month, causing me to feel some discomfort. So in this particular case, a product like CO2LIFT V solves this issue for me naturally. But can you share tips and advice on this topic? And what do you say to our fellow sisters out there feeling shy or uncomfortable about this?
Well, first of all, I have to say, Lana, I need to try this. Now seeing Zen Skin, I'm blown away. So I need to try this. But talking about this other part, going down a little bit, going deep, I will be honest that I did go through uterine cancer late last year, early this year. And thank God was caught in time. And through all the surgeries that I had to have, unfortunately, it left me like the Grand Canyon. So with that, I turned to something called Thermiva. And for me, because I didn't know about this, because it did help within one treatment, it completely changed me. It was an in-office procedure, very non-invasive. It was really like almost like getting laser work done, but zero pain. And it was like 10-15 minute treatment, and then that was it. I was back to normal. So my doctor did suggest getting surgery, but I just was like, I've been through so many surgeries. I just was surgeried out. I think my body had it, and I just was not, especially for something like that, I was not ready to go to surgery. So I thought I'm going to try lasers, see what works, and thank God this did work. So I'm back to normal, back to good health.
So there you go. It's a real thing. You know, I'm sitting there feeling shy about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to feel shy
No,
about it. Like every now and
you
then,
can't.
we're not all. Nikki's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't experience any of this stuff. Well, Nikki, you are very passionate about detoxifying your body from within, especially after having battled mold poisoning.
Yeah.
You were evacuated
Yeah.
from your home and you dealt with many symptoms. What did the mold do to your skin, and how are you addressing some of the long-term damage from the mold poisoning?
It first made me lose a lot of weight. So then there was the laxity issue. I had a lot of like patches of some kind of crazy rash. So the dryness, because of the way it dehydrates you, like from the inside out, like your organs, your brain, it's almost like everything's affected plus your blood. So that's why I did the ozone treatments where they put take out my blood, centrifuge it, and put it back in. So it was a lot of kind of rebuilding and rejuvenating to like kind of get to like a baseline of where I was.
Yeah, so it took a lot. I know mentally and emotionally you were not feeling yourself, you were not looking like yourself or acting like yourself. But when you look
Yeah.
at something like the CO2 Lift Pro as a medical monotherapy, I mean, it's a great course of action because it could treat severely dry skin and itchy skin, speedy healing of wounds, like Lana said, and increased blood flow.
Wow.
But they also have the CO2 Lift Pros and aesthetic monotherapy. So that means for fine lines and wrinkles and creepy-ish skin and dark circles and inflamed skin and textural imbalances and enlarged pores, dull tones, all of that stuff. So it's also safe when applied to upper eyelids and on mucosal membranes. So it's definitely a product that if you're looking for, that non-invasive, all natural route, this is probably one of those products out there. And I just want to get your opinion. So thank you so much for coming on, ladies. This was so enlightening.
Thank you.
Thank
I want to
you.
try this product ASAP.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lana, any closing thoughts, my darling?
Well, first of all, I love what both of these women represent. I love that they speak
Yeah.
out on natural beauty and just really getting older, but in a graceful way. And so I'd really encourage anyone out there who's interested in that sort of dynamic in order preserving, because we're getting older every day, to consider trying the CO2 lift.
Absolutely. And so, with that said, that was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift. Definitely have to check out their incredible products. Head to CO2lift.com and definitely check out Mackenzie Westmore on the gram at @MWestmore. And her products are also incredible. Head to westmorebeauty.com. And don't forget to check out our influencer, Nikki Giavasis at Nikki Giavasis Official. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, Iheart Radio. We'll be right back after this.